With the fall of the Emerald Chain, the Federation is continuing their expansion and on a mission to supply numerous worlds of the now safe dilithium, while on Kaminar, Saru and Sukal convince the Council that another burn is very unlikely to ever happen again. At the opening ceremony of the new Starfleet Academy, Burnham proudly tells the new cadets that the Federation has grown from 38 to 59 member planets. After the ceremony, she meets the new Federation President, Lyra Relak, but their attention is soon directed to a distress signal from Deep Space Repair Beta 6, which claim to have lost control of the station. Vance orders Discovery to the rescue, with President Relak also joining the mission. Arriving at Beta 6, they soon discover that the repair station is being subjected to a gravitational distortion anomaly. Tilly and Adira are beamed aboard the station and help the crew, but the repair station as well as Discovery are then hit with a wave of debris. Burnham decides to save them on her own and manages to lift them to Discovery, but it is too late when the space station hits Discovery, resulting in the deaths of 3 people. With the crisis dealt with, Relak reveals to Burnham that she came aboard to see whether Burnham was fit for command of the Voyager J, a ship wielding the latest version of the Spore Drive, telling her that she is not fit since she is too emotional when she has to make a decision. On Kwejian, Book is in his ship investigating strange behavior from the birds and is then hit with the same debris that hit Discovery and Beta 6. While unconscious, Book's ship makes it to Discovery on autopilot and they try to find out what has happened to Kwejian. They are all then horrified when they find out that Kwejian has been obliterated by the anomaly. Book is shocked and struck with grief after seeing his planet destroyed and realizing his brother and nephew are dead. Having heard of the new crisis, Saru has joined Discovery and offers Burnham his support as an advisor. Stamets tells Starfleet Command that he believes that the anomaly is a roving binary black hole. However, when approaching the anomaly, their initial observations contradict the theory of a binary black hole, and Booker wants to fly in the accretion cloud to gather more data to save other planets. Meanwhile, in the Med Lab, Dr. Culber and Adira Tal have created a synthetic body, just like the body made for Jean-Luc Picard at the end of the first season of Picard, to transfer the consciousness of Grey Tal, one of the former hosts of the Tal symbiont. With Book almost leaving for the cloud, Burnham decides to have a holographic version of Stamets go with him. While the two of them are in the cloud, their ship and Discovery are hit with a gravitation wave. Adira and Tilly find out that additional waves will hit them in the next few minutes, forcing Burnham to break the tether between Discovery and Book's ship. When hologram Stamets then has collected his data, they are unable to go back or transmit the data to Discovery due to the waves. Bryce proposes they surf the waves to safety, with Burnham instructing Book when to jump onto the wave. After missing the first attempt due to a hallucination of his lost family, Book manages to surf their way out of the gravitational waves when Burnham comforts him. Having analyzed the data, Tilly reveals that the binary black hole changed direction when Discovery came near it. Now unable to predict its pattern or direction, the Discovery crew is faced with a new mind-breaking challenge. When a Federation dilithium transport is robbed, a joint operation between the Federation and Ni'Var is set up, with Burnham and her mother Gabrielle being tasked to locate and capture the thieves. Vance reveals that the thieves are members of a rogue Coat Milad branch run by Giovanni. Before heading off on her mission, Burnham and Stamets discuss the anomaly, and Stamets believes the phenomenon to be a primordial wormhole with a dark matter disk, calling it DMA, Dark Matter Anomaly. However, he lacks conclusive evidence to be certain, and together with Book goes to the Ni'Var Science Institute in the hope that they can help. Meanwhile, the golem body for Grey Tal is finished and they start a procedure to transfer his consciousness into the synthetic body. With the transfer first seeming to have failed, Grey and Adira are happily joined when Grey regains his consciousness in his new body. On Ni'Var, Stamets fails to convince the Ni'Var Council of his primordial wormhole theory, and in a desperate attempt, Trina offers to mind meld with Book to look for conclusive evidence. But after the mind meld, Trina reveals that there is no evidence for the wormhole theory. Having located the dilithium on a moon, Burnham, Tilly, and Gabrielle find Javini there, but discover that she needs the dilithium to safely transport the last of the Abronian species, which are in cryostasis, to their new home. With their cryostasis malfunctioning, Burnham successfully repairs them, allowing the Abronians to travel to their new home. Javini then surrenders and is taken in and eventually extradited to Ni'Var. With Ni'Var on the brink of joining the Federation, President Rilak, Trina, and their delegations have set up a meeting to discuss the conditions, with Rilak having invited Burnham and Saru as well. Meanwhile, Tilly and Adira are occupied with the newly forming Starfleet Academy. Kovic points out to Tilly that the new cadets lack a sense of a team feeling. Tilly decides to overcome this obstacle by going on a training mission with the cadets and Adira. But when their shuttle is hit by a gamma-ray burst, they crash land on the wrong moon. On Ni'Var, President Trina demands an exit clause as one of the conditions for joining. An unacceptable condition, claims President Rilak, since such a clause would destabilize the might of the Federation. With both presidents not budging, the talks are suspended. Back on the wrong moon, Tilly is devastated when a cadet dies in the crash, but they are forced to move from the shuttle since indigenous creatures are heading towards them. While on the way to a ridge, in order to contact a Federation ship, the cadets argue among themselves, but Tilly is able to have them reconcile and the newly formed team makes it in time to be picked up by the Federation. Back on Ni'Var, Burnham proposes that she will serve as an independent committee, overseeing that the needs of both parties are seen to, until the time that Ni'Var and the Federation trust each other that no such committee is needed. A solution that Trina and Rilak agree to. Back on Discovery, Tilly reveals to Burnham that she doesn't want to pursue the command track anymore and has accepted a position as a teacher at Starfleet Academy, and thus will be leaving Discovery. Witnessing the DMA appearing and disappearing at incredible speeds, Stamets and the rest of Discovery conclude that the phenomenon is not a force of nature and is thus created by something or someone, with Vance naming this party Unknown Species 10C. With the whole Federation in panic mode, Vance has invited scientist Ruon Tarka to aid Stamets in his research about the origins of the DMA. They then discover that the DMA is headed towards Radvac 5, and Discovery is ordered to help with the evacuation. Arriving there, Burnham and Book are told that the prisoners will be left behind and decide to take it upon themselves to rescue them. With Burnham gone, Tarka convinces Stamets and Saru that the DMA has a controller in its center and proposes to make a miniature version of it on Discovery to learn how the DMA works. They soon get to work, but are stopped by Saru when the experiment becomes too dangerous. Finally reaching the prisoners, Burnham and Book hear their stories in which it is revealed that they were unjustly imprisoned. Together with the prisoners, they quickly make it to Discovery before the DMA appears, except for Felix, who decides to stay and die because he believes that he should be punished since he had killed an innocent man a long time ago. Thirsty to learn more about the DMA, Burnham orders Discovery into a subspace rift created by the unnatural phenomenon. However, once inside, the space around them is completely dark and seemingly contains nothing. But when they send a dot to venture outside, the robot is disintegrated, revealing that something is out there and is closing in on them by the minute. With Zora, the ship's AI merged with the sphere data, unable to properly handle their requests due to its emotional state, Burnham orders the Spore Drive to be used with Book hooked up. But that plan backfires when Book is hit with a power surge and the mycelial network being unable to operate within the void. Using the power surge, Stamets believes he can unveil some of the void's secrets by examining Book's brains. Gray then informs Burnham about Zora's feelings, and Burnham tries to reassure the AI, while the rest of the crew works on a solution to get them out of the void. After examining Book's brains, Stamets and Culber realize that the energy has the same signature as the galactic barrier, revealing that the DMA comes from outside the galaxy. Using sonar frequencies and with Zora reassured by Burnham, the ship's AI and Burnham guide the crew to safety and they all make it out of the void. Knowing that the DMA is artificially created and probably from outside the galaxy, Zora and Stamets analyze data to uncover the origin point of the anomaly. Zora then reveals to the Discovery crew that she has found the origin of the DMA, but is unwilling to share the data, even when Captain Burnham orders it, revealing to everyone that Zora is rapidly developing sentience. Meanwhile, members of the Federation are having a meeting with regards to the type of contact they want to establish with unknown species 10C. Tarka informs the Federation that he has a forbidden offensive weapon that can neutralize the DMA and convinces Book to side with him, and secretly even reveals that he is from another universe and wants to use the DMA controller to go back home. With the talks resuming, Book proposes to use Tarka's weapon to prevent further bloodshed and more worlds being destroyed, but Burnham tells everyone that the best course of action is diplomacy and to try to talk with species 10C before taking the road of no return. Back on Discovery, with Kovich present to assess whether Zora can be a threat to the Federation, the ship's AI gives the crew a device that can kill it with just the touch of a button, and even gives them the location of the DMA's origin point. But after discovering that Zora has been having dreams, Kovich concludes that Zora has become a sentient and new life form, and thus can no longer be killed. After a voting session, President Rilak informs the Assembly that they have voted to peacefully approach species 10C. Having heard the Federation's decision, Tarka and Book leave on Book's ship with a stolen Spore Drive and Tarka's weapon, in search of the mysterious species 10C.
Bit of a different looking interface, but it works the same as on Discovery. Next part's all you.